Welcome to my channel. If you like my videos, then kindly subscribe, like and watch. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back. This is part 3 of chapter number 11, that is about energy methods. In this lecture we are going to discuss work and energy under several loading. Then we will discuss Cauchy-Glanville theorem, that what is Cauchy-Glanville theorems and how we can determine the deflection by using Cauchy-Glanville theorem. And at the end we will solve a concept problem, that is 11.12. So let's move toward the topic of work and energy under several loading. So you can see that let we have a beam AB, clear, that is simply supported beam, pin support at A and a rolling support at point B, clear. So this is a beam AB, and when you applied a load, more than one concentrated load, let this is P1 and this is P2, that is applied on the beam, clear. So deflection will occur. So deflection of an elastic beam subjected to two concentrated load is shown as in this figure. So after application of load P1 and P2, there will be a deflection of x1 and x2. Now x1 is the deflection due to load P1 and x2 is the deflection due to load P2, clear. So in this section, the strain energy of structure subjected to several loads will be considered and will be expressed in terms of loads and resulting deflection. So let me delete, this was the initial beam, clear. So let's move further. So now consider an elastic beam AB is subjected to two concentrated load P1 and P2. So the strain energy of this beam is equal to work of P1, clear, and P2, as they are slowly applied to the beam at point C1 and C2. So P1 is applied at C1 and P2 is applied at C2. Now the work done due to P1 is P1 at point C1, and the work done due to P2 is at point C2 is another work done that can be added later in order to find the total work done, clear. So the strain energy of this beam is equal, the strain energy of the beam is equal to work of P1 and P2 as they are slowly applied at C1 and C2. Okay, so in order to evaluate the work done that is performed by P1 and P2, we must first express this x1 and x2 in terms of P1 and P2. So what we do is that in order to get this, the value of this x1 and x2, which will be obtained in terms of P1 and P2, we will derive this x1 and x2. So for that, what we do is that we initially consider that P2 is not applied, only P1 is applied at point C1 and P2 is equal to 0. Here I will write P1 is not equal to 0 and P2 is equal to 0. Now you can see that P1 is applied on the beam at C1, clear. So due to this load P1, there will be a deflection of x11. Now x11 means x11, and due to this load P1, there will be a deflection as well at C2, which is x12. X21. Now this the first subscript shows you the position. For example, x1 is this position and x2 is this position, and the second subscript shows you the load. So deflection at point 1 or C1 due to load P1 is x11, and deflection at point 2 is due to load 1 is x21, clear. So we can express this x11 and x21 is, this x11 is equal to alpha 11 P1, and this x2 is X1 is equal to alpha 21 P1. Now what are these alpha 1 and alpha 1 and alpha 2 They are known as influence coefficient. Influence coefficient. Here, so alpha 1 and alpha 2 they are known as influence coefficient. Okay, so alpha 1 and alpha 2 are influence coefficient. These constant represent the deflection at C1 dash C1 and C2 respectively. Clear? So here you can see this x11 is equal to alpha 11 P1 and x21 is equal to alpha 21 P1. Clear? So these are the deflection due to load P1 which is x11, and due to load P1 there is a deflection x21. We have represented them. Now we will consider the second scenario, that in which there is a no load. I will write the same thing. Now this is point A, clear, and this is point B, and this is initial axis, clear. Now there is a load P2, clear, at point C. This is a point C2. This is the C1, clear. Here P2 is not equal to 0 and P1 here is equal to 0. Now due to this P2 load there will be a deflection, that is x22. You can see this from this point to this point, this distance is x22, and due to this P2 load there will be a deflection that is represented as x12. Now this x12 will be equal to alpha 12 into P2, and this x22 will be equal to alpha 22 into P2. Again, this alpha 12 and alpha 22 they are known as influence coefficients. Now we have deflection due to load P2 is x12 and x22. Now in this scenario, if you applied both forces P1 and P2 at C1 and C2, so by using principle of superposition, this x1, which you can see the let me show you, this x1 is the total deflection, which is equal to x11 plus x12. How? I will show you. And this x2 is equal to x21 plus x22. Now you can see this x1 is the deflection due to load P1 when P1 is applied, clear, that is x11, and there is again deflection, that is x12 due to load P2. So total deflection at this point C1 is x1, which is x11 plus x12. Similarly at point 2 total deflection is x2, which is equal to deflection due to load P2, which is x22, plus deflection at point 2 due to load P1, which is equal to x21, and x21 is alpha 1 P1, clear. So this is x2. So similarly x2 is this one, clear. Now you can put the value, as you know that x11 is alpha 11 P1, alpha 11 P1, plus x12 is alpha 12 P2, and similarly here x21 is equal to alpha 21 P1 plus alpha 22, x22 is alpha 22 P2. So total deflection is equal to this one at point C1 due to load P1 and P2, and total deflection at point C2 due to load P1 and P2 is this one. These are the last terms. Okay, now we will move further in order to compute the work done by this P1 and P2, we will also apply the same method. You can see that initially, if you consider that when there is no P2 is 0, you can see here the P2 is not equal to, P2 is equal to 0 and P1 is not equal to 0. It means that only P1 load is applied at C1. So due to this load P1, there will be a deflection X11, and due to this P1 load, there will be deflection which is X21. Clear? Okay, so this work done by the load P1 is equal to 1 over 2 P1 into X11. Now you can see when you applied a load P at C1 point, clear? So there will be a deflection X11, and we have already discussed that this work done is equal to product of load into this displacement in direction of load. As this is elastic, as the work done is in elastic range, so the total work done due to load P1 is equal to 1 over 2 P11 plus X11. And you can also see here that there is no load P2, but due to this P1 there is a deflection at C1. Again, I will repeat that P2 does not work. Here P2 is equal to 0 while C2 moves. You can see C2 moves at a distance of X21 since it has not been applied to beam. Similarly, you can also apply so here work done is equal to 1 over 2 P1 into X11, and we know that 1 over 2 P1 X11 is equal to alpha 11 into P1. So we will get 1 over 2 P1 square alpha 11. Clear? Again, if we consider the second scenario in which this load becomes 0 and only there is a load P2. Clear? So in that condition, work done will be equal to 1 over 2 P2 into X22. Clear? And due to this P2 load, there will be a deflection that will be here. It will be X22 here, and this will be X12. There will be a deflection of X12. Clear? So the work done will be this one, and this 1 over 2 into P2 and X22. You know that alpha 22 into P2, and that will be equal to half of P2 square into alpha 22. Okay, so now if I draw a graph, so this was a scenario for load P1 and P2. Now if we consider that initially there is a load P1 is applied. So if I draw a load deformation curve for this load displacement diagram for C1 and load displacement diagram for C1, and here load displacement diagram for C2, load versus displacement for C2. So you can see if I applied initially P1 load at C1, so clearly if I increase the load P1, so deflection will increase within the elastic range. Clear? So this is, let's say this point is P1. Clear? So due to this load P1, there will be a deformation that is known as X11. But here, but due to this P1 load, clear, there will be a displacement at point C2 as well. So this displacement, this is point C1 dash. Clear? Here you can see this is C1 dash. This point is C1 dash. Now due to this load P1, there will be a displacement of x21 at C2 dash. So this is point 0. Let this displacement is this one, and this point is C2 dash, and this displacement is x21. Clear? Now you can see if you apply a load at point C2, after that if you apply a load at C2, this load is P2. Now you can see that C2 dash will further move to C2. Now due to load P2 dash, if you applied a load slightly increasing load of P2, so due to this P2, that this force is P2. Clear? So now due to this P2 load, there will be a displacement that is known as x22. Clear? And again there will be a displacement. This C1 dash will further move by x12, and this will be further x12. There will be a displacement x12 due to a load of P1. Clear? So the total work done, this will be the total displacement x1, and this will be the total displacement from here to x2. Now you can see x1 is equal to x11 plus x12, and this x2 is equal to x21 plus x22. Clear? So now here by applying a load of P2 after P1, you can see the P1 will further cause the beam to deflect, or the further there is a work of P1 into x12. Clear? So now we have another load that is another work done that is due to the load of P1. Clear? And this work done will be equal to P1 into x12. This work done is equal to P1 into x12, and we know that x12 is equal to alpha 12 into P2. So we will get alpha 12 into P1 into P2. Now there are total three type of works. One is this one, the second is this one, and third one is this one. And we know that work done is equal to total work done is equal to the strain energy. So we will add them. So if this will become equal to 1 over 2 alpha 11, I will write this alpha 11 P1 square plus 1 over 2 alpha 22 into P2 square plus alpha 12 P1 into P2. Clear? Okay. So moving further, we have the equation of total strain energy under several loading or two loading at C1 and C2. We have total strain energy is equal to 1 over 2 alpha 11 into P1 square. We will take 1 over 2 common from all, plus alpha 22 P2 square plus 2 times alpha 12 P1 into P2. Now this is the total strain energy due to the load P1 and P2. Clear? Again, you can also do it as well, that you can initially apply P2, clear, and then after that you can apply C1 P1 at point C1. I will also explain it. For example, if you want to apply the load, let's say this is a point A, this is a point B, this is initial axis, clear? So there is a load, this is C2 dash, clear? So if you applied a load P2 and there is a no load, at C1 dash, this is C2 dash. Clear? So this displacement is x22 and this displacement will be x12. Now if I draw a displacement load curve for C1 and displacement load curve for C2, I will not write here displacement load versus displacement curve for C1 and load versus displacement for C2. So you can see if you applied a load P2 within elastic limits. So let's say this is the load P2 that is applied. Let's say this is the P2 load. Clear? Now due to this P2 there will be a deflection at point C2 which is equal to x22. Clear? And again due to this load P2 there will be deflection at C1 which is x12. Although there is no load at C1 but there will be a displacement which is x12. Clear? Now if you further applied a load at point C1 after P2, clear, and if you increase it, so due to this load P1, this beam will further move, this point B will further move to this, again if I draw it on the same, if you applied a load of P at P1, so this will further move like this. Again this C2 dash will move toward C2 double dash. Clear? And the load due to this P1 will be, let's say this will be x11. This will be x11. Total displacement x11 and this load is P1. And now the displacement here will be x21. Clear? So you can see in this scenario this u will become equal to 1/2 A22 P2 square. This is the first work done, that is due to P2, plus 1/2 A11 into P1 square, which is due to load P1, plus there is a load there is a work done, extra work done, that is done by this P22, and this will be equal to this one become equal to P2 into x21, and again is this x21, if you put the value, so this will be equal to P2 x2 in term of x2 1 will be equal to alpha 211 into P1. Clear? So again if I take 1/2 common from this, so it will be equal to, again this will be A22 into P1 square plus A11 into P1 square plus 2 times of A21 into P1 into P2. Now these are the same thing, but this is the strain energy, total strain energy equation when you initially applied a load of P2 and then P1. Initially this was for the load initially applied P1 and then slightly applied P2. Both equations are same, and you will further see that A21 is equal to A12 by a theorem that is known as Maxwell reciprocal theorem. So for according to Maxwell reciprocal theorem, this A12 is equal to A21. So both scenario give you the same strain energy. So this was all about strain energy under several loading. Now we will further utilize this concept in order to discuss the Castigliano theorem. Now what does Castigliano theorem states? That The statement I will write here is that according to Castigliano theorem, we can define it deflection with respect to any force can be obtained by taking partial derivative of total strain energy. So instead of total strain energy, I will write capital U. Deflection with respect to any force can be obtained by taking the partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to that force. Now what does it mean? Let me explain. So if you are interested to find the deflection of P1, deflection due to load P1, that is x1. So this x1 will be equal to, you will have to take the partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to that force. So x1 will be equal to partial u over partial P1. And if you are interested to find out the deflection x2, so this deflection x2 will be equal to partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to that force, that is P2. So this is Castigliano theorem. I will repeat the definition of Castigliano theorem, that Castigliano theorem states that deflection with respect to any force can be obtained by taking the partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to that force. So in this case, if U is the total strain energy of this beam, clear, so you can find x1 by taking the partial derivative of that total strain energy with respect to that force P1. That will give you the deflection at this C1 due to load P1. Now if you are interested to find out the deflection which is x2, so you will take the partial derivative of total strain energy with respect to this load. So x2 will be equal to partial u over partial P2. Clear? So this was the statement of Castigliano theorem. Now we will move further. You can see that strain energy for elastic structure subjected to two concentrated load. So in our previous topic, that is, you can see that this is the strain energy equation for two concentrated load on the beam, and this is, both equations are same. So this has been written over here. Yeah, so the strain energy is equal to this. So if differentiating with respect to the load, if you take the partial derivative of this load with respect to P1. So if you take partial u over partial P1, so you will take the partial u, you will have to apply partial over partial P1 of this whole term, which is equal to 1 over 2 A11 P1 square plus L12 P1 into P2 plus 1 over 2 P2 square into A22. So again you will have to apply the partial. So if you take the partial derivative of this will be equal to, let me write partial u over partial P1. So the first term one will give you A11, and this 2 will be cancelled because it will be again if you differentiate it, the power will reduce to 1 less than the power available. So A11 into P1. Clear? Here you can see there is P1 term, so this will be equal to alpha 12 into P2, because partial derivative of P1 over P1 is 1. Clear? And this term is constant, so there is no P1, so this will be 0. So you can see this partial u or partial P1 will be equal to alpha 11 P1 plus alpha 12 into P2, which is given over here. And this is deflection x1, because we have seen that partial u or partial P1 is x1. So this will be equal to x1. Similarly, deflection at point 2 x2 will be equal to partial u over partial p2. Again, if you take the partial derivative of this strain energy with respect to P2, so this term will be 0. Here it will be a 1 2 into P2, which is here, and this will be a 2 2 into P2, and this is this one, a 1 2 P1 plus a 2 2 P2. Clear? So, for generalized term, Castigliano theorem for an elastic structure subjected to n load, the deflection xj of the point of application of pj can be expressed as for deflection that xj is equal to partial u or partial j, where x is equal to 1. So, this x1 is equal to partial u or partial p1. If j is equal to 2, x2 is equal to partial u or partial p2. Similarly, for slope, we have this equation theta j is equal to partial u over partial mj, and for angle of twist we have partial j over partial angle of twist is equal to partial u over partial tj. Clear? And we have done this in our previous lecture, that is part 2 of chapter number 11. Okay, so if you further increase the concept of Castigliano theorem to the beam that is applied by several load P1 and P2, so as we know that strain energy for the beam under the normal load is given as m square over 2ei into dx, that we have discussed in part 1 of this chapter number 11. So if you want to find the deflection with respect to any force, that is xj, j is general term, you can put j start from 1 to how much load. If there is 3 loads, so j start from 1 to 3, so it will be j is equal to 1 2 3. Clear? So for generalized term, this xj is equal to partial u over partial pj, and that will be equal to integral of m over ei into partial m over partial pj into dx. Clear? That is from 0 to L. I will also repeat it. This total strain energy for the beam under the normal loading is equal to integral of 0 to L m square over 2ei dx. You know this. If you want to find the deflection, so you will take the partial derivative with respect to pj. Clear? So when you take the partial derivative, so it will be the same, only m square over 2, which will be equal to partial m over partial j into dx. So this will be the generalized equation for finding the deflection. Clear? For truss, this is the total strain energy. Clear? Equation. And for if you want to find the deflection with respect to any force, so it will be this xj will be equal to partial u or partial pj, and this will be equal to this. Now we will see a problem, concept problem 11.12, and you will be able to understand how you can find the deflection with respect to any force. Here, so you can see the cantilever beam AB supports a uniformly distributed load W is given, and concentrated load P is given at point A. Knowing that length is equal to 2 meter, W is equal to 4 kilonewton per meter, P concentrated load is 6 kilonewton, and EI, the product of E and I, is 5 Newton into meter square. So you have to find the deflection at point A. Clear? So you have to find YA. Clear? Okay. So let's move further. Now, as you know that we have this deflection from our previous equation, this deflection at, since this is vertical displacement is represented as xj, here the vertical displacement will be YA. So this YA is equal to integral of, this YA is equal to partial u over partial p due to load this p. Clear? Now okay, now this is equal to further integral of 0 to L m over ei into partial m over partial p into dx. This is the same equation that is over here. Clear? Okay, so we need moment. So again, for this beam, the moment can be found by if you take a section at any point. So let this is the point P. Clear? This is distance x and this is the distributed load W. Clear? So there will be a shear force and a moment M. So we are interested in movement. So let this point is J. So sum of all movement about J is equal to 0, keeping the counterclockwise as positive. So you can see at this point J there is a moment M. Clear? That is counterclockwise, so it is positive. Again there is a movement due to load P and this is also positive because it will produce P into X counterclockwise rotation plus P into X. And due to this uniformly distributed load, it will act in the mid. When you would multiply W with X, it will convert into concentrated load and it will be at the mid. Clear? So the mid distance is X by 2 is equal to 0. So this is also a positive. Clear? So it means that reaction moment is equal to minus P into X minus Wx square over 2, or you can say it is equal to minus Px plus Wx square over 2. So this is the moment equation for this beam. Clear? This beam. So we will use this equation and we will put over here. Clear? Now I will write it again. This M is equal to minus P into X plus Wx square over 2. Now if you take the, here we have a term partial M over partial P. So if you take the derivative, partial derivative, partial over partial P. So this partial M over partial P will be equal to minus, sorry, partial over partial P of minus Px. Clear? And this will be minus partial over partial P Wx square over 2. If you take the partial derivative of this term minus Px, so it will be minus P. Clear? Okay, not minus P, sorry. If you take the, I will write it further. So partial over partial P of minus Px minus partial over partial P of Wx square over 2. So if you take the partial derivative of this term with respect to P, it will be minus X. And this partial derivative of this constant will be 0. So partial M over partial P will become equal to minus X. Clear? Again, you have to multiply M with this term. Clear? And this term is minus X. So as M is equal to minus P into X plus omega X square over 2. And when you multiply it with partial M over partial P, so you will multiply it with minus X because partial M over partial P is minus X. So this will become equal to Px square. Clear? And this will be equal to 1 over 2 Wx cube. Clear? So this term M into partial M over partial P is this value. Clear? So you will put YA is equal to integral of 0 to L Px square plus 1 over 2 Wx cube into dx divided by EI. Clear? Now you have all the value, you can integrate it separately, so you will get this deflection y at point A is equal to 1 over EI into PL cube over 3 plus omega WL4 over 8. Now you have the value of EI, you have P, you have L, and you have W that is given. You can see the value of L, W, P, and EI. So you can put it in this equation. So when you put the, you will have YA is equal to 4.8 millimeter. Clear? So this was all about deflection due to any load P. Clear? So I hope you have learned from this video as well as you have enjoyed it. Again, if you have any question in your mind, you can ask me in comment section. Thank you for watching my videos.